All right, we're Group C doing the Wimm-Bill-Dann case, and I'm Rahul.
I'm Ashu.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Armel. And I'll be talking about the issue of the case. And WBD was getting too big too fast, is what we found. Starting as a small-scale production of juices became a national food conglomerate in just 15 years. So they started out with juices, and then they went into dairy, and then they went into mineral water, and they also went into alcohol, actually. So they've expanded quite a bit. WBD purchased 10 production plants during the first 2 years. So I mean that's just showing how they've increased in size pretty quick. Rapid growth through acquisition eventually resulted in a reduction in profitability. So while acquiring all these companies, it does cost to basically maintain these companies, and also with marketing and other costs associated with these companies they're acquiring. They did not have a clear strategic purpose, which would improve some of the decisions when acquiring the companies. And basically, they just kind of grew too big, too fast. So I mean, they should have gradually expanded instead of growing like right away, kind of thing.
Okay, so the data to support the issue is like in 2000 they came up into the bear market, and that was short-lived actually, because they pulled out of in 2003 because of the coalition between the CEBC, which consisted of 4 breweries and accounted for 2.6% of domestic bottled beer market. 2001, WBD launched juice and dairy products in Russia. 2003, Healing Spring Limited. And in the middle of 2005, the company shares were $18, which were $1.5 less than the 2002 float value, which actually shows like when they had like less amount of acquisitions and mergers, and like less amount of like companies under them. They were doing pretty good actually, but now the share value is going lower.
For alternatives, our first alternative we decided was to develop a centralized management team. As mentioned before, we didn't feel they had a strong enough management team, and it seemed that WBD had scattered management teams throughout their areas where they had companies. We felt they kept diversifying without proper representation. There was 40 cities in Russia where they were involved in. We don't know how well they were represented there. Although one may assume that there was proper representation, a suffice amount it was not. Specific management teams in each location could have prevented future problems, such as potential competition, as well as being more aware of the oversaturation of the market, which essentially is what happened with WPD. Our second alternative is selling off assets and merging. WBD had 10 production plants, which we felt was too broad and too difficult to maintain. Before closing off other products such as water and juice, they should begin focusing on what made them successful, which initially was their dairy products. They started doing this in 2006 when WBD decided to close their plant in Norvord, which was their mineral water plant. With this action, they found their profits to increase sixfold. With the merger aspect, we feel that they should develop mergers, if not mergers, just alliances. These alliances can help them not necessarily with profit, but just the knowledge base. Before delving into products such as mineral waters and such, they may want to ally themselves with companies such as Coke, a diversified company and a very knowledgeable company. From there, they can build relationships and develop knowledge before delving into anything else on their own. Our third alternative is maintaining the status quo, which is essentially just to do what they've been doing all along. However, with this, although Wimm-Bill-Dann are becoming more successful, or they're considered to be successful, the knowledge of mergers and alliances seem to be out of reach for them. Again, as mentioned before, they have the potential for knowledge and a lot more customers with these mergers, but if they continue with the status quo, which is this alternative, they have the potential to fall back into their old ways, which was to diversify without ever really developing their own product.
For our selection criteria, we chose alternative B, which is selling off assets and merging with other companies. This will help with future expansion and through improved strategy. And to obtain this, we are looking more for alliances and mergers to learn how to do something before jumping in to do it. And this coincides with their current method of downsizing, and they'll expand upon it since when they future and they want to expand back into the business, they'll have proper knowledge in there from their alliances and stuff, so they won't be just jumping in without knowledge.
Okay, our action plan. The first one is figure out which businesses are most unprofitable and begin to sell. So basically, see what's doing good for them and keep that, and the others like they might put them into mergers for better management and do better with that, or just sell it out.
And the second part is concentrate on their strengths. Stick with what they know best, which is dairy, and deal with other things as they come along.
And part of this action plan we also have is to develop alliances with successful companies. Again, if not for profit, just for the knowledge. An example would be to develop alliance with Coke, as I mentioned before. Coke is a leader in mineral water with BUSN. By doing so, Coke may agree with WBD to sell in a certain area. This area may not necessarily increase their profits, but it'll increase their knowledge base. From there, WBD can move and develop into their own areas with a stronger relationship with the bigger company and more knowledge.
Okay, that's our presentation.
Thank you.
We'll just stop it.